That's up to you. There's
Yeah.
chairs if you don't want to stand. Just
that's
a
all right.
reminder, this is candidate 1D for New Canaan Assistant Chief. This is the written paper presentation. As I mentioned, you have up to 10 minutes to summarize key points. There's already been a cursory review.
Okay.
And then we're going to allow at least 5 minutes for assessor questions. If you override that time, I will step in to make sure they get time for questions, okay?
Okay.
And if you want to use a stopwatch, it's there. You're not required to.
No, that's,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you may begin.
All right, so you saw my paper. It was about, I wanted to do it on building markings. I feel that would be important to try to protect the community and the firefighters in the town of New Canaan. New Canaan, I know off the top of my head, I think it has like 7,000 buildings in the town from the research I did. So what I was thinking is I was going to go for stickers that would be about $650 a piece. It'd probably put us into almost like the $50,000 range, and then it's $100,000 over the 3 years. But I was hoping to do some training on building construction and on where to place these, and training my firefighters on doing some home safety inspections and stuff while we're out doing the markings for the buildings. I was hoping to get that more of a community aspect too. And as you see in my paper, I also put in there that the building markings, most properties probably in New Canaan are probably wood frame type 5, but I'm sure they have a ton of type 3 construction, ordinary construction. And with all this new podium construction, Avalon, which I call it, that's another hazard that we have to deal with today. And I think getting the firefighters out into those areas would be important, because even with parking garages, most of them are being built, and if you came in on the highway today, you see them all over Norwalk. A lot of them have those parking garages where we're thinking that they're going to put gas vehicles in, right? And if we put an electric vehicle in, those are 33% heavier, which I just learned not too long ago. So think about it, if we go to this whole green initiative and then we get everybody in an electric vehicle, are all these older vehicles going to be designed to hold that weight? So that's something I was concerned about too when it came to firefighter safety. So I'm also looking to, what else? I wanted to make them glow in the dark, visible to the naked eye. So when my firefighters are doing a 360, they'll be able to pick it up right away, hopefully where the electrical services come into the building. I also, when we do the training, we'll also get them to the habit of checking the basement and looking for other utilities to shut off. So I feel that's important to train them on situational awareness and making sure that they understand, because eventually I'm going to make all my firefighters promotable and try to get them to go up into the next ranks if that's what they want to do. Again, they might not want to go that far, but getting out there into the neighborhoods is going to help with everybody's training and knowledge of where they work. It's also going to help with water supply and standpipe systems and sprinkler systems, getting out and knowing where all that would be also. I'm looking to save lives, implement a dedicated program, try to get the community involved, get in the high school, maybe some of the art classes from the high school out, trying to get them involved. Maybe they could help design our stickers. Again, my goal was a Maltese cross with maybe different markings that says hurricane windows, truss construction, truss floor, any truss roofs, truss floors, anything like that that we can mark in there. Solar panels is going to help the firefighters on their initial 360 to know what we're dealing with. Because can solar panels be covered by 12 inches of snow? Yeah. Would we see the things coming in on our 360, the different shutoffs for the solar? Absolutely. But the guy going to the roof might not know that going right away. So if we can get that to him before he sets up and steps off onto one of those solar panels, it's going to save everybody's lives. Hurricane windows, people, we're in New Canaan. Teaching all across Connecticut right now, I see there's a lot of neighborhood, a lot of new buildings going up. They're putting hurricane windows in for security, right? You put those in the first floor, no one's getting in. And that's an issue I think we're gonna see down on the forefront, is hurricane windows are gonna be an issue across the nation when it comes to, and how we're gonna mark those. That's one thing we need to worry about. So, the goals I'm looking for: increased building visibility, improving our wayfinding on what type of construction we might be dealing with, safety and security of both the firefighters and the occupants, right? Maybe we could also mark where Knox boxes are on or key locations can be in a certain code for us to know, not the bad guys. We're gonna make it look aesthetically pleasing on the building, and in the long run, we're gonna try to get some feedback. Maybe we could send out a survey monkey or something to get some feedback from the community to see what they think of the building markings, and is it something that they want to take away from their buildings, or they don't mind it on their building. I think that would be a big thing. And the biggest thing I see is trying to work with the building department to get them on board so we can kind of pass an ordinance to get this done. So that's why I would look to get the $100,000 implemented over a 3-year period. And from there, we would go on to go through plan it out, get our goals and objectives, train our staff, do some trial runs, see how it's working. And then in year 2, we would definitely go through our program materials, resources, expand our program, monitor the progress, make any adjustments, and then, like I said, get some feedback from both the firefighters and the stakeholders, which would be the residents or the business owners, to see how that is. Hopefully, in the long run, it would help increase our, make our ISO rating, which in New Canaan at the time is a 3 now, and a 3 wide. Maybe that would help increase some of our ISO ratings, and then we can pass that along to our business owners, which makes a big impact for them in the long run, not the residential parts. Or reduce their fire insurance for commercial, and then we could kind of say, hey, we're reducing your fire insurance, maybe we can get a little more out of them on a tax pay or a donation. So year 3, I would continue to monitor and implement, conduct evaluations to assess the program's effectiveness, make any changes, and develop a final report, and make sure I'm hitting all impacts and outcomes that I set out. So, and then some of the extra money, like I said, would be for training, maybe hiring extra people to come in to work, maybe go out in the utility vehicle if we have some busy weeks, get them out, get them a little bit of overtime, which gets a little morale higher and gets a little more buy-in from the firefighters. So that's pretty much what I had. Any questions?
I do, I have 2.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to deal with any cost/budget overruns?
Well, I kind of went on the lower end for everything, so hopefully some of that money that would be built into the grant would cover some of those overruns. But if I do go over, I would try to look to implement some of that in the budget with the chief per year to try to say, hey, listen, we might need some extra money on top of that grant to help us get through any overruns that we might run into. Okay, so.
Question 2. Do you have any of this information available to the members in the rig with their NDTs? Any pre-planned information?
Well, that's the goal would be to get that into all the, as they go out, hopefully we'll be able to do a building and then mark it in the CAD system. So when they go in and it comes up on a call, that information will be there. 360 is going to tell you there's a building marking, and it also is going to have solar panels, hurricane windows, truss roof, truss floor, all that would also be in there. We're going to try to incorporate that into our pre-incident planning.
So is the type of construction available right now, whether it's type 1 through 5?
Is it available
Right now?
for the houses?
Yes, for the rig. So if you're going out to a call and it's 123 Main Street, does it say 123 Main Street is type 5?
Before this program or ahead of time?
Before this program?
I'm not 100% sure
Okay.
how New Canaan does.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I would hope, but I'm not 100% sure. That'd be a great tool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whose responsibility would it be to keep this updated? I mean, as people add solar or change the construction of their building?
That would be something I would throw into the Survey Monkey, and also try to get the stakeholders to buy into when they do a renovation or a change, they would let the fire department know. As opposed to the private building department, because if they do the building department, it might be information I don't get back, right? So I would have them do it, and maybe then I can notify the building department. Maybe they put a hurricane window in on their own, And then I would contact the building department and say, hey, listen, they put a building, hopefully it's not gonna lead to a problem where they get fined for doing work without a permit, but we all know homeowners do their own work, right? That's what happens. I'm sure everybody in this room has done an outlet, and that would be another education thing I would probably look to do, is go out and explain to the people, maybe bring an insurance adjuster in and tell them that there are ways we can cover ourselves with code and compliance riders on our insurance policy. So maybe go out and just have town meetings. Hey, do you have code and compliance on your, because we know people are gonna do renovations, but hopefully if they call the fire department, I want them to feel a little more secure calling us, and then we'll pass that information along. Because it's hard to get the information from the building department to us when, in the long run, as we all know, sitting in this room.
Let's imagine that the general public hears about your plan, and you don't receive the money that you need to implement. How will you assure the general public that they are still safe, even though you didn't receive this money? How else will you accomplish that?
Again, I would have some town meetings and explain to them that we still have ways to find out how their buildings are constructed, and we can definitely train on it. We can go to their GIS and pull up building information on what they have on vision appraisal or whatever New Canaan uses. I didn't look into what New Canaan actually uses for their building appraisal, but I would go into there and explain to them that we could still kind of pre-plan what their building is. This is just going to be more of a safety factor for our presence when we arrive on scene to gather information as quickly as possible for our strategy and tactics when we want to go to work to help protect the family.
Okay, thank you.
One last question. Are there any other local municipalities that utilizes
Yes, there is.
this?
Yeah, West Haven, around currently where I was from, started this program. We didn't get it for all buildings. We got it for all new construction. We passed an ordinance. So whenever you do a 360 in West Haven, there's a sticker on the electrical panel where it enters the house. So.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, we'll see you one more time for the staff meeting. We'll try to
Okay.
make up some of our time lost over
Okay.
lunch. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you. Lunch is here.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, sir.